What is going on? Welcome to the DC Journey. My name is Drew. Yeah, man, it is one of those years where a lot of good is going on, a lot of chaos, a lot of fun stuff. Sometimes you just get away, and for me, like at the end of the year, I got away, and a buddy of mine gave me his ranch for a couple days, and I just got into some calmness, some quietness, and I'm out on this 2-acre pond and just looking out and just kind of dwelling on 2023. And sometimes it takes getting away in the wilderness to kind of really reestablish where you are in life. And so 2024 is supposed to be a great year for us. We're calling it SCORE in 2024. And that's financials, that's physical, that's spiritual, that's you name it. Any way that I can score in my life, I want to make 2024 the year that I look back and say, you know what, this is where change started to happen for me. Today I'm joined with a buddy of mine, business owner, entrepreneur, friend, companion. I don't know if companion's the right word. It's like, is that a good word? Maybe, I don't know. But man, did I screw this whole thing up? Let's see if you can. Oh, there you go. Buddy Josh P. JP
What's going on?
is on the mic with us today. Josh, dude, I've known you for like 2-3 years now.
Yeah.
California, right? Is that where you're from?
California boy.
Born
and raised.
Born and raised.
Escondido,
man. And so, dude, we've got a lot going on. And one of the things, dude, I love about you, man, is anytime we meet, it's always like, man, how do we build this business? How do we grow this? How do we do that? Hey, what about starting this new thing? And then it's like we just play off each other. And so I love that about you. But let's start about the basics. The basics about you. Does anyone ever call you JP?
Sometimes.
Today, man.
JP.
Welcome to the show, man. This is it, dude. I don't like going off a script. A couple days ago, we did a podcast with a buddy of mine, owns a barbershop, or a couple of them, and I actually had 10 questions, and we got to 3 of them. With you, man, I don't plan on reading anything. I don't plan on looking at the script. Is this a script? What is this? No, this
Get
is
some bullet points
Yeah,
prepared.
this is a client that came in. And they took all the notes and then they left and didn't take their notes. So I'm assuming that they're going to need those coming up. Well, let's get into it, man. Basics of Josh. One, you own a cool business. We'll get into that as well. You're a father. I mean, you got a whole great story. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. And what's up?
Oh man. Yeah. Just sliding into 2024, with the e-brake, just getting that thing sideways, trying to straighten her out as we head into the year and go hard and fast. So it's been a wild ride the last couple of years, especially since you've met me. I mean, it was almost like bang, bang. Like we met, we got to hang out for, a solid probably 6 months. And then, chaos broke loose with me and my personal life. And I mean, somewhat my business life as well, but made things very busy and chaotic. But come out on the other side, the end of last year, single dad now, got 2 kids, full custody. It's pretty rowdy.
Yeah.
So, and running a business and trying to keep the wheels on that thing. So,
man, it's just something else. People don't realize the business ownership. Everybody looks at your life on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and whatever else you're on, and they're like, man, this dude is traveling all over the place. I'm looking at your website right now, and I'm looking at these photos, and man, y'all have done a phenomenal job. Let me just throw that on there real quick. We'll get back to the website, throughout the show. But dude, y'all have got some cool stuff. I pulled up y'all's Instagram. Let me just go over to that too. Y'all are building this lifestyle brand called Off the Grid Apparel, or Off the Grid Surplus. That's what it is, right?
All our social media and the website's all offthegridsurplus.com.
Yeah. So, man, y'all have got some really, really cool stuff, but you're building the experience that happens when you're in the apparel, which I love. It's kind of like Apple and Google and Facebook. They're all talking about the experience when you put on the Oculus goggles.
Right.
you're experiencing a new reality. And so I love the fact that your marketing plan, it's not just saying, "Hey, look at this hat, look at this shirt." It's like, look at the lifestyle you get to live when you have this apparel on, which is really, really cool. So talk to me about this brand.
Yeah. So, man, I started the brand in 2013. I mean, fast forward or rewind, I guess I should say, from that is I started out in the design community. Growing up in Southern California, I was an action sports kid, right?
Yeah.
Wakeboarding, snowboarding, surfing, the whole thing, skateboarding. And when I was 19, I got the opportunity to take a job at Rip Curl as an assistant designer. I'd gone to art school for a little bit, really not that long, but I'd always been interested in design, drawing, creating stuff. And so I got the opportunity, got that job, was there for 4 years, Quicksilver for 4 years, Etnies for not that long, and then DC Shoes. Then I worked with FMF and a couple other brands, and then actually was at a church. Got laid off from FMF. They were kind of having some struggles over there. Not the core side of the brand with the exhaust systems, but the apparel brand that we were trying to kind of grow out of that. But worked at a church for 2 years. And while I was there is when this idea for Off the Grid came into my mind, right? I was driving home one day and I just was like, I saw how great of a job a lot of these other brands had done in their communities, right? The action sports community, especially surf, right? They raise money, the Surfrider Foundation, right? The Waterman's Ball. They do all these things to help raise awareness and money for these charitable causes. And I really didn't think there was a brand that created apparel for the off-road industry.
Yeah.
And I loved it. That's what I grew up doing, right? Going to the desert, wheeling. I mean, I grew up action sports too, but riding dirt bikes, going in dune buggies, like just hitting the desert was only an hour and a half from us. So
yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah. And then the summertime, winter was the desert, summer was the river or the beach, right? And so wakeboard and all that fun stuff. But I wanted to create a brand that supported the off-road community, right? Jeeps and wheeling and all this stuff. And so my brother-in-law was kind of my muse or whatever. He owned his own plumbing company. He loved camping, hunting, fishing, off-roading. We would go shooting, right? All this stuff. And so it's like, what would I make for that person where, I hated this idea of these uniforms, right? Like, oh, I'm going to go to the shooting range, so I'm going to put my tactical uniform on, right? Or I got to go to work now, so I got to put my work uniform on.
Yeah.
Or, oh, I'm now going wheeling, like, I better grab my wheeling stuff, which was probably jeans and whatever. But I wanted to create a brand that was like, you could wear it every day. You could go to the job site, you could go to the campsite, or you could go to the range, the tactical range, you go hiking, whatever, and so that's what I set out to do.
Yeah.
It took a while before I could create the pants that I really wanted to make, just because cut and sew is so much harder. You have to make so many more units. You got to work with factories that are overseas. Luckily from my experience in the industry, I had made factory connections and stuff like that. So that made it a lot easier. But yeah, I mean, launching that first pair of pants, I think we did 800 units per color. We had to do a Kickstarter campaign, and then we had 10 grand stolen from us in an online scheme. Like when we were wiring the money to the factory, it was brutal. But man, we overcame that, launched our first pair of pants. And then I had partnered with a buddy of mine who had a marketing agency, and he started running Facebook ads, and they took off, And so, Facebook ads at the time were huge and like they were performing really well. But at the same time, he was like, dude, you poured into this community of people for 4 years before you launched your product, right? Like I would go to events, I would talk to, I'd get, kind of work through the community. And I would try and offer value. If somebody had a company, I'm like, hey, do you need help making t-shirts or hats or whatever? Like, let me know if I can help you out. Do you need a graphic made or something?
Yeah.
If you had a race team, like, can I make your race team shirts, right? Anything I could to just ingrain myself in the community and get to know more people. And so I got to meet a lot of good brand owners, business owners. And so by the time we launched the pants, we already had this awesome community of people, kind of rallied behind us.
Yeah. And that's what's really cool is because your stuff is it's comfortable to wear when you're at the shooting range. It's comfortable to wear when you're, you talked about the Jeep community, but the Bronco community is actually turned into a big thing. Yeah. We're doing little stickers for Broncos now that like is their Bronco with their little hashtag on it, which is pretty cool. But like the Bronco communities, I don't want to say it's similar to the Jeep community, but like it's a big deal. And like you see each other driving Broncos, it's cool. But you go off-roading, the stuff is still cool enough to wear when you're off-roading. You get out, have a bonfire, have some drinks, whatever. It's comfortable apparel, but it's also like wear and tear is amazing, and so it lasts a long time. And the cool thing is, like, you guys have pockets and locations that are convenient. It's not like you're building like cargo pants again. You didn't reinvent the pant.
No.
But you're putting, like, I'm looking at some of these things, like, you've got you got the pockets are in the right area. Carry a knife, it's good. Put your phone somewhere, it's good. You got one that's in here that's a field book that's on the Trailblazer standard fit,
and that's going in the mag pockets.
Yeah,
which are huge.
Yeah, it's awesome. So it's like it can be tactical gear, it can be off-road apparel, it can be, there's so many different things that you can do with the stuff, and it's comfy. And for like, my wife always gets me these stretchy jeans. Like, I was so against it, but then I put some stretchy jeans on. I'm like, man, you know what?
Yeah,
I may go to Lululemon and give me some yoga pants. I'm not going to, but I'm gonna pray about it for a little bit. But it's like, they're comfortable, man. And and so, yeah, man. So this is great stuff, dude. I love I love these hats right here.
Oh yeah,
these are coming out, right?
Those are out.
Those are already out. Yeah, I clicked on the new apparel. Like, this hat right here, dude, is, not to mention, this is you have it listed as $35. It's $28 on sale right now, but this is like a $45 hat.
Yep.
And man, I love these color schemes. They're comfortable hats, and I'm jealous of you, man. Like, we work with a lot of brands. I know we've toyed around with doing some stuff with you, but one of my rules is, when we work with a clothing brand, like, we've got, I don't know, probably 50 or 60 brands that we're kind of doing stuff with on the small scale. Nothing compared to what you're doing. But one of the things is, like, yeah, man, you got to have 2,500 followers on Instagram before we do anything like that. And bro, you're killing it, man. You got 60,000+ followers. I think you should probably follow more people, but I'm kidding.
Oh, we are actually told not to.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah,
because
it messes
contaminate
up
the algorithm.
Yes, correct.
But dude, this is cool stuff, man. So, like, these other companies, when did you start Off the Grid?
2013.
Okay, so 2013, which we were 6 years out of chaos and with
the mortgage crisis, all that. Yep,
which was nuts. And so, like, you've got a lot of stuff going on in California. What do people do in Texas? Like, are you opening a shop here? Are you going to have a distribution center? Like, what are the plans in the future? Anything cool?
So, I mean, that was the plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to open an office here. I honestly wanted to build a team out here.
Yeah.
We had to kind of take a step back. I mean, I was going through a divorce for 2 years. Like, there's not a whole lot you can do inside of a business when you're going through a divorce. It really is challenging. Yeah.
On top of other challenging crap that already happens.
Right.
It's really tough, and
it's wild how many businesses actually fail.
Yeah.
From a divorce.
Yeah.
While you're having to churn through assets, you're blowing through money on lawyers. It's rowdy.
Yeah.
And so I kind of put most of my plans on hold, right? Like, we haven't even made any real new product in the last few years.
Yeah.
And so once that finally settled, and it's like, okay, like, take a breath, like, now where are we going? Right.
Yeah.
Like, I finally felt like, okay, here we go. Like, now I can move forward.
Yeah.
And so we launched, we took basically our best product we had, which is our Trailblazer pants. It's canvas. So we have a men's version that's in a standard fit, a tapered fit, and then I have a women's version too, which honestly has been 70% of our business.
Women.
Those three pants.
Those pants. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
But the women's pants,
that's
cool. Crazy story about the women's pants. So we partnered with this girl as a race car driver, Bailey Campbell. Her whole family, like, her dad's won King of the Hammers 3 times.
Oh, really?
She's gotten pretty close, and her brother actually has been second. And so they're a racing family, and her fiance, her husband Brian, he races as well.
It's like, you understand how expensive like trips with them should be. Like, hey, Thanksgiving dinner, like, what that looks like. Oh, let's just eat, and then we're gonna go out and do some trails.
Yeah,
like, that's got to be expensive, because if one thing breaks on a vehicle or whatever, especially going like King of the Hammers, those things, that's a crazy, like, what is that, a week-long event?
More. It's 3 weeks now.
Jesus, that's crazy.
70,000 people on a dry lake bed in the middle of nowhere.
That's
it's
nuts.
Coming up in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to head out there, but yeah, I mean, those cars typically cost between $500,000 to $750,000 for a car.
Yeah.
And then you got to campaign it, right? Like that fuel, it's race fuel, 110 octane.
It's nuts.
They get about 3 to 5 miles per gallon with those, 750, 1,000 horsepower motors.
That's crazy.
It's insane.
Let me see if I can pull up something on King of the Hammers here.
Or just look up, Campbell, Campbell Racing. He's building a new car right now. Shannon, the dad, him and his brother Nick were the fabricators, and this guy Matt is one of the designers. And man,
they out of Arizona?
Yeah.
Yep.
Queen Creek.
Yeah, let's just look at some of this stuff. I'm so enthused
that was their old trail
this.
car. That was Bailey's old race car.
So this is not. So it's just
those are I mean, those are probably maybe 75 grand, 50 grand, maybe 100 grand. But like, go to their let's see.
Let's go to Instagram real quick.
Yeah.
This is crazy, dude.
Yeah, there you go. There's a race car. There's that car is for sale right now for I think $250.
It's nuts, man. If I ever told my wife I wanted to do this, I actually have a friend that I think you may have met him, but dude, he's all into rock crawlers.
Oh yeah,
and he's got a sick rock crawler that we took to Hot Springs Adventure
Arkansas.
Park. Yeah, and man, I'd never done anything like this. Like I've gone mudding and stuff like that in a truck. But dude, these guys, this is a whole different world.
Oh yeah,
I'm completely like I don't have a lot of experience in this, but dude, this stuff gets me going now.
Oh yeah, you get hooked.
Yeah, he tried to go up a when we first got out to the Hot Springs Adventure Park. Rick tried to go up like vertical on a hill, and I feel like if it wasn't like a little wet, he probably would have made it up this little thing. But I'm over here inside this little, caged old school Toyota, like little, I don't know what, Toyota Tacoma or Chevy, it was like, I think it's a Chevy Blazer type thing. Wanting to cry because I'm terrified.
If you've never done it before, you look at a set of rocks and you're just like, no.
Yeah.
Like there's no way we're going up this.
Yeah. I was terrified, and I didn't tell him that at the time. I probably haven't told him now, but dude, like, I'm like, hey, by the way, when we get back, I need to stop by the cabin because I need to get some new underwear, man. Yeah. This was scary. Yeah. And fortunately we didn't make it up there, but dude, it's so loud. It's obnoxious, but it's so cool. Like the adrenaline that gets pumping, and I can't imagine being at King of the Hammers though, and having that many people just loving it.
Well, and so man, how long? It was probably like 4 years ago now. Yeah, it was 2020 or 2019. My buddy Matt, I had a friend, Matt Howell, who's out of Fort Worth. They had a shop called Tribe 16, and they build race cars. And so he had it's a 4,500 car. It's a modified class. And we did their shirts, again, it was like, hey man, can we help you out and do your shirts? We partnered with them. That was the first year we sponsored King of the Hammers. And we were at the fire pit one night. So like, if King of the Hammers is crazy, like if you look it up, it's like a city in the desert, and in the center of it's called Hammertown. And that's where all the vendors are at. That's where like the race teams, and you have your trailers in there and everything, and you stay there. And then everyone's motorhomes kind of build around it all throughout the desert.
That's nuts, dude.
And there's a big fire pit. There's a massive fire pit in the middle. And at night, like the drivers will go out there and hang out, and like everyone's kind of, having some beers, hanging out. There's a big screen right there that they show the race live. The entire time. They have 2 helicopters chasing the race, and then racing drones now that
really?
in certain sections that chase the cars. It's insane. And so my business partner at the time, Bobby, was talking to Matt, and he's like, hey man, like, who's in your race car for qualifying? Like, do you like, who's riding shotgun? Like, do you think Josh could jump in your car during qualifying? And he's like, man, I typically don't have. It's a short, it's like 3 minutes. It's the shortened rock trail that they use to qualify for the race to see where you line up. And he's like, yeah, Adam doesn't usually ride with me because you don't typically need a co-driver, right? That's the overland experience out there. It's a whole separate like section that they get, like this private area. But so Matt was like, yeah, fine. I'm fine with it if Josh is okay with it. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm okay with it. Let's go.
That's awesome, dude.
And Matt starts grilling Bobby like, hey man, like if we're doing, like finally there's like Like, is everyone cool? He had to go to his team,
Yeah.
like, guys, are you cool with this? If I have this other guy in my car,
Yeah.
you know, and they're like, are you going to drive different? Like, are you going to check up because he's sitting in the car with you? Like, are you going to be worried about him? And he's like, hell no.
Right.
Like, that's his problem.
Yeah.
And so once they all agreed, like, yeah, we're okay with it. We're cool. And then we talked to USAC, who's the organizing body. So I had to go get a racer, wristband. I had to sign up, get my insurance through USAC, like that I was a competitor. And he's telling Bobby, he's like, so does Josh get car sick? Do you know if he has like, you know, any issues with like G-forces? Can he ride backwards in a car, like, or on a train? Like, and Bobby's like, why are you asking all these questions? And he's like, well, for about 3 minutes, whatever happens in his helmet is his problem. Like, if he gets sick, I'm not stopping. Right. So I need to know, like, is this going to be a problem? And so
it's like, I wasn't nervous until about right now.
Right. And he's like, I don't think so. And so we take off the line and we're hauling ass to this tabletop.
Yeah.
And we hit the tabletop and I'm like, woo, you know, let's go. And he's like, all right, we're good. And just hammer down.
Yeah.
And so we hit the rocks and like, it was wild. Being in a car like that, it's like being in a car crash when you're going through those rocks. Like, there's skid plates and everything underneath, and they're just monster trucking, just smashing this thing on these rocks. And you're just like, holy cow, this is insane.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude.
It's
How was
fun.
it? How was that race?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that year they broke. The next year they got third. He made a wrong turn. He followed this car in front of him off course. They were leading the race. Followed this car off course and then had to backtrack, and they had to go up this sand hill, which they couldn't. They got stuck on the sand hill, so they had to keep backtracking. But yeah, man.
Yeah. So this stuff right here, this is like Jen wants a scout, wants to get that thing built.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, I can get a scout for like $8,000 that needs to be completely like redone. Or I can buy one that's already done. It's $65,000.
Right.
I know nothing about building cars, but like this right here, I don't know that, because I've never been behind the wheel whenever, we've been rock crawling. And so I don't know what it's like to drive on this stuff, but
it's fun,
dude. This crap is amazing, dude. Like, and the speed, like,
it's Jason Shearer.
Rick's Chevy. I think it's a Chevy. He's gonna kill me if I get this wrong. But dude, his thing, I don't know what he's got in there, but dude, it goes like 0 to 60 in nothing.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
probably an LSX motor, some crate motor in there.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, he would. I'd call him right now. He'd love to talk about it. But his stuff is sick. But man, this is one of those little niche markets, even though it's a huge industry that you've tapped into. And all these people, like, they need clothing, and this is kind of what we were talking about prior to starting. You know, we're working on a brand right now that we're trying to push out, and we've owned the brand for 5 years and done nothing with it. In addition to everything else. And we have the luxury because not that we are creating t-shirts and jeans and stuff like that, because we don't have the resources to, make our own, cuts and custom built apparel. We screen print and embroider on stuff. And so it's a little bit easier for us, but a lot of the times whenever you have to walk down that difficult road of like, okay, who's supplying this stuff? Who's going to do the embroidery? Who's going to do the screen printing? Who's going to cut the patterns? Like, you learn a different part of the industry where, like, we don't do anything overseas. Like, all of our stuff is coming from warehouses in Texas.
Yep.
And if they're not in Texas, they're in like Florida or California, somewhere around. Arizona's got some stuff that we're doing. A majority of our product comes from Dallas, Fort Worth, or Houston. And I don't know where they're getting it. Obviously, they got main factories too. But, these are things where, like, dude, you're building something that is custom apparel at the price point that's still cheaper than what it would be if you just walk into the normal stores that people shop at. And it's cool stuff, man. So props to you, bro. Like, this is I guess I could turn the cameras back on. This is, dude, I've always loved this brand, and, you got to get it going, bro. Like, people need to know more about this. There's a huge market in Texas for people that are, tactical people. hunting, fishing, all of the above, man. And they need to know about Off the Grid. And so like, we're going to throw Instagram on here in just a little bit so people could follow. And, we'll talk business some more, but dude, what is it that you're going through? Like, how are you staying sane in this? Because for a lot of business owners will watch this and they don't have to communicate with their team internationally. They don't have to communicate with their team really outside of the office a lot of times, but some of our clients are like, okay, I've got, 10 salespeople that are in the Austin region, some that are in Dallas, some that are in Houston, but you are communicating in a way, one, it's international, one, it's across the country. How are you doing all this stuff? How are you staying sane?
Yeah. I luckily I think, the crazy thing was I started my entrepreneurial journey only about 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. So when I was starting the brand, I still was working for other companies for about 4 years until I took the leap. My business partner kind of pushed me off the edge basically, but he had me go through this program at the time. It was called Wake Up Warrior by Garrett J. White. And one of these guys, a couple of these guys actually were certified trainers from him. And so we did this little like immersive weekend thing up in Idaho in Sandpoint, where they literally was like a mini kind of like hell week, right? Yeah. So we had to do this crazy obstacle course. They duct taped us. They shot us with paintball guns. Like they did. They beat the hell out of us.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah. Let's see this. Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah, keep going.
Right. And so, they do that initial kind of thing to expose you to yourself, right? To get you to say, come to the end of yourself, basically, of just like, all right, we've tore you down. Like now we need to work on who you are, because, one of the guys, Nick Long, he says, right, like, your business doesn't have problems. Your business has you and your problems.
Ain't that the truth?
Right. And so the reality is you're the problem in all these situations. And so until you can become a better businessman, it doesn't matter your business plan. Right. And so they focus on 4 areas. There's a lot of guys that do coaching now, and it's similar thing. Right. So core 4 was body, balance, being, and business. Right. Yeah. So body is you got to get out and do something every day. And then you got to eat decently, right? So theirs was like a green smoothie or something. So like 10 minutes of exercise, green smoothie, which now I've kind of adopted some of the 75 hard where it's 45 minutes of workout and 45 minutes of running every day.
Yeah.
And then being is like meditating and journaling, right? And so really taking the time to be purposeful about like stopping yourself, slowing yourself down, listening. I listen to a lot of guided meditations, which help. And then, getting all those things out of your head and putting them in a journal and just like, okay, like that's out now. Like I'm okay. Like I feel better. And I expose myself a lot to like, I've read a lot of books over the last 3 years, 4 years on mindset and, how to focus on mindset and just, Brene Brown, right? Like, why are you mad at the sky? Because it's blue. It's blue. Yeah. So like, there's a lot of things in our life we get mad at, but the reality is you can't change it by being mad. Right. You have a choice. Like you can choose to be mad or you can choose to move forward and be happy. Right. In your circumstances, wherever you're at, like it's a choice. And so you have being, which is your journaling, meditation. Balance is your family. Right. So for them, it was you had to write notes every day, one to your wife or your spouse or somebody, and then one to each of your children. And so that's your kind of connecting to them through that. Gratitude, right? Like I'm grateful for you for this, or hey, I see this in you. Sorry. And then business was you had to learn something new every day about business in general, and then you had to share it, right? So it's those core 4 things, like you had to do those before your day got started. And honestly, that routine and that mentality really helped me to where going through challenging things, like that's one of the things you learn about business is it sucks, like. It's obstacle overcome, obstacle overcome, obstacle overcome. Yeah. Like people that think you just start a business and like stuff's just flying off the shelves and everything's great and like you don't have cash flow issues or there's no slow times or you don't get a whole shipment of product in that's wrong. Right. That you got to figure out what to do with because you can't send it back. You already got orders. I would have to wait another 6 months to get replacement product in where we would have no sales. Right. So what do? Well, let's figure out a way to communicate, it came in a size big. So then it's like, well, now we're dealing with a ton of returns. Like we finally gotten through that inventory that had the sizing issue like this last year. And so our returns had gone from 10% down to now less than 5%.
Oh, that's good.
Right.
Yeah,
and so, but then it's like, so we had that. Then it's like, oh, iOS 14 update, right? All of a sudden Facebook ads go from 6 to 7 ROAS to 2.
Right.
So now all your budgets are shot to hell.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I'm spending twice as much to make half as much. Right.
Right.
Especially when you're dependent on, Facebook marketing, this and that. Then it's, Facebook shops. And then all of a sudden one day they're like, well, your account's shut down. Why? You violated our policies.
Yeah.
How?
And then there's no one to call.
How?
Right.
Where? What did we violate? Let me know.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
4 weeks later, oh, your account's back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What happened?
Yeah, you unviolated a policy. Thank you.
We don't know what happened. We were trying to track it down, but we couldn't get any answers.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was on the phone Monday. So what is it? Is it the second week? Second week of the month. Every Monday, I have a 4-hour call with Meta, and which is great because like we went the first whatever season of this business where we had no contact with Facebook.
No rep.
They didn't care. So when you start spending a certain amount of money with Meta, and with us managing people's social media and stuff like that, it's like we spend a lot. And so when someone's like, "Oh man, I just lost $8,000," I'm like, "Cool, that was yesterday for our social media account." And so it's like it's crazy. But I was talking to them because man, we have all these businesses, and it's not just us. There's 60 or 70 companies, and we're getting the same email. Bam, bam. Oh hey, you violated this deal. We're going to be shutting down. Oh crap. Hey, what kind of plug do you have on your Mac? Is it just the USB-C?
No.
I forgot that I didn't plug that in. Yeah, give me 1 second. Yep. So sometimes in life you got to pivot a little bit.
Like when your laptop's gonna die.
Yeah. So I was supposed to plug that in prior to us pushing play or record. There we go. This is easy software. I love this software.
It's awesome.
We use the software. Our video switcher is a Stream Deck. Bought it on Amazon. The software we use for this room is called Ecamm, and Ecamm Live, ECAMM Live. We pay a yearly subscription to it, but it just makes things easy in this room because we have I call this a low budget podcast studio. The stuff that we talk about is I feel like worth way more than the room is worth. So
yep.
But for you, man, like you've had to pivot. I mean, dude, who took the blame and the responsibility on the sizing issue on the pants?
The factory did.
And so like,
yep.
But that's a reputation hit for you guys,
right,
which is hard to overcome sometimes.
They gave us a 15% discount on the product.
Yeah.
And that was like, I mean, at that time, the first order was 1,600 units.
Yeah.
The second order, we added a color, and I think we did 2,500 units on that one.
Yeah.
This order was 20,000 units.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Before that, we only had one cut, and people have been asking us for a standard fit. And so on this one, we added a standard fit, and we added a short, and we added another color.
Interesting.
And at that time, so before that, we were straight bootstrapping, like getting loans, friends and family. And then, so at this time we were partnering, we wanted to go from shipping out of my garage into a 3PL. And so we talked to this 3PL. I'd known them kind of from the industry as well. And we're like, hey, we need, we're talking about finding investors, people to invest, right? Would you guys be willing to invest? And they're like, look, we're not going to give you money in your company. And we don't want equity right now either. But what we'll do is we'll fund your POs for you. You house everything here. Whatever you sell, you make, like, we'll ship it for you. We'll pull that out of the order, and then we'll give you, we'll take a percentage of that. I mean, I think it was, on our line of credit, it was plus 1% a month, 5% plus 1 a month, right? It's basically like 12% a year APR, a little bit more. But, And so that's how we were able to order that much. They funded the PO, and then that's
nice.
And they gave us, I think, a $25,000 kind of line of credit above and beyond that for us for operating expenses, right? But we start jamming. We're running Facebook ads. We're doing all this stuff. But then we had that issue, and it became a lot of back and forth, like getting product back, having to repackage it, and get people in the right size. We created a whole quiz on our website, like what size are you in this, Levi's, or if you bought our last series of pants, what size were you in that? Okay, you should buy this size and this. So we like had to adapt, but again, conversion rate goes down, like all these other, because customers don't want to go through all those steps. Like if they're hardcore, they will, and most people don't read anyway. So we would still get people ordering their normal size and then getting pissed at us, and we'd do exchanges. But it helped us refine our exchange process, I'll tell you that, and we got software for that, that was through Shopify, and, we overcame that. And then I overcorrected on the next round, and I undersized stuff, which you want to know what's better? Not undersizing. Right. Oversizing is always better, because then everyone's like, oh, I'm a smaller size. Awesome. Undersized. Yeah. It means like, wait, I've never been a 36, Right. And you're just like, shoot. So we went from 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 was when they were big. 4.0s, they came in small. And you're ordering a whole new run. Right? Because you're not just ordering, you want people to go into this new product, right? So now you're blowing out this old product. You're ordering this new product that you want. So you're doing a whole new size run again. And then those came in small. And so then we had the 5.0s, which those came in fine. And from there on, it was like, we're not touching anything. Like I'm not making minor tweaks, but nothing crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough when you go from a 34 to 36 in pants. I mean, the consistency across the map, like, when I go to Express, most Expresses don't have like my size anymore. It's either I have to go a size way too big or a size way too small. And it's difficult, especially when you're dealing with multiple production factories.
Yep.
I do remember when we had to pause a while ago, Meta, dude. So they had no clue. Like I'm literally on this thing, and Chris, our rep, got another guy who does, he works in fraud for Facebook. And, so we're going through just all the accounts that we manage, and we're pulling up these emails, and it's like, hey, you broke the law. Click this link, and it looks similar to like what a Facebook link would look like. But dude, I'm going through, like, we had 45 of them that came in over the weekend, and like our clients are getting pissed off. And I'm like, dude, this is not just us. Yeah. This is everybody across the map. They're getting inundated with these stupid scammers and I don't know if you call them hackers, but scammers that are trying to pretend like they're Facebook. And I pulled up all these emails, and he's like, huh, we'll look into that. I'm like, let me do another one. We'll look into that. Well, and so it's like, if business wasn't hard enough, now you have to overcome these stupid obstacles of people trying to hack into your stuff, and they look authentic, but 99% of them aren't. And so if, for the most part, what we've realized is if you do something wrong on Facebook, they're not going to email you. I've seen a push notification come across on our account saying, hey, did you approve this expense? And it's like, yes, we did. And it came from it came from one of our different third-party softwares that we use that ties into the Facebook API and stuff.
Yep.
And like, dude, it's just Facebook is really good at what they do, but there's so many things that they're not really focused on, and these are some of the ones that we brought to their attention. And so it's just it's frustrating, but it's one of those things about business: capital, raising funds, getting investors. Like, we don't work with a ton of businesses that are like, hey, we just got another investor and now we have to train them on things. But because we work with relatively small businesses, and I would say in finances. So like, we've got a company, 270 million a year. I think that's about where they are. They work with bank fraud. I love them, but it's a whole different dynamic. If I go into their office, I have to dress up. This is typically what I wear, normal. But most of the companies that we work with are They're small businesses. They're 10 million and under annual. They've got less than 20 or 30 employees, and so it's more of like that family atmosphere where like the companies that you're working with, dude, these are like big factories. Though off the grid might have a small staff, small employee count. Like it takes a lot to run the company, and so marketing's a little bit different. Making those decisions, at the top of the business, that's a little bit different. What are the tools you guys use communication wise? Like, you were on Slack earlier?
Yeah, we do Slack, Asana. For our project management, we don't use it as much. 90 is what I use for our weekly meeting cadence.
Yeah.
And kind of like building our goals or our rocks and things like that.
Yeah. Explain rocks. I know what rocks is, but
sure.
For the people that haven't read Traction, walk us through what rocks are.
Sure. So if you look at, a cup, right, that you have, the first thing you want to put in that cup is your rocks. Like they're the biggest thing. They go in. It's a big target you're shooting for, right? It should be something that stretches you as a company or as an employee, right? And you can have financial rocks. You can have, I think one of the ones we had, one I have right now is for me to create more content, right? To more video content, like to start shooting more content of myself. I've paused on that because of all the personal stuff going on, stuff with our, some other business stuff. But this year it's like, if you're not creating your own content or your own video content, because content is expensive. One, it's necessary. Right. And if you're getting UGC or like you have affiliates making you content, it can get very expensive. Yeah. Very quick. I mean, we have guys, some of our guys have, 500,000 followers, on YouTube. And so it's like, yeah, I'll do that. It's $3,500 a video. And you're just like, oh, okay. Yeah. No, you don't want pants? Like we give you some pants?
Yeah, no, that's the cheap way, man. Right. Yeah, give me a shirt. I'll talk to you for a little bit. By the way, we need to negotiate this deal before we move any further. Yeah. Like you didn't even bring me lunch when you came in. You're eating cheap Asian food. Like what?
Yeah, that's terrible.
Granted, I was eating Thai food, so it's good.
All right. Man. Yeah. Next time I'll bring a 6-pack of beer.
Yeah. It's the influencer marketing side of things gets tricky. TikTok was paying us, like we started getting just different things from like Chick-fil-A. We actually got some stuff from Nose Slap. Have you done the Nose Slap stuff?
Oh, last time I was here.
Did you do it last time with us?
We got some. And my girlfriend actually is like addicted.
Yeah, is she really? I give you some more.
Oh, I'm going to need to get some.
Yeah, we get boxes all the time.
Yeah, no, you got little kids, and like I get up at 4:45 every day now.
Yeah, let me get this stuff real quick.
Yeah. Let's do this. The funny thing is that I was introduced to smelling salts. My ex-father-in-law, I still love the guy. He's a great guy. He used to have the contract to do the sidelines of oxygen for the Raiders and the Rams.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so I was at this Raiders Redskins game, the first game I ever got to go to with him on the sidelines. And before the game, I'll never forget it. Brian Arakpo has a Gatorade bottle with like white tape wrapped all the way around it. And they had thrown a ton of smelling salts in the bottom of this thing. And they're just shaking it up before the game. And right before the kickoff, they're just like, getting jacked on smelling salts. And just, I'm like, what the hell are these guys doing?
Oh, dude. Yeah, it's nuts, man. Nose Slap is, this is a great company, dude. They're, yeah, it's, that probably hadn't hit yet either.
No.
This is, it's not like doing cocaine or anything. I've never done that.
Nope.
But it's very interesting, man. Like, I've got a couple pastor buddies that use this before they get on stage.
All right.
Just to wake them up, and it opens up their sinuses and stuff, so they're talking a little bit more clear. And then we have, a bunch of athletes do this. When you see it on the sidelines,
weightlifters.
Yeah, they do it before. They do it before they get on stage or on their, if they're doing a max weight or whatever, they do this. No Slap is a good company, man. They sent this stuff, and they do a lot of things on TikTok. I saw this stuff, I don't know, about 2 years ago, and shot a video just for the heck of it. And then we became, I love it because they say like we're one of their athletes, like One Wheel. One Wheel sent me a One Wheel deal, and I got to shoot videos for them and stuff. But like they call you an athlete, and at the time I was like, okay, man, I might have been an athlete at one point, but you know, I got 2 kids. I'm a little bit overweight. Need to get back on track. So I think that's funny, but it's crazy, dude, because like the marketing side of things on YouTube and TikTok and you know Facebook and Instagram, it's changed so drastically now that like TikTok shops, like
don't get me started.
Oh, bro! Like, first of all, I hate scrolling through TikTok now because every third video is like, "Oh my god, you got to buy this new display." By the way, I bought the display, and it was like $45. It's great. It's a secondary monitor. I didn't shoot a video on it because I'm sick and tired of seeing videos on TikTok. It's supposed to be good stuff that you can watch while you're sitting on the throne,
right?
And like, you know,
I don't want to buy anything. A little overboard.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue buying on Amazon. I don't want to freaking see all this stupid stuff on TikTok shop. I'm on TikTok because of the dancing. Right. I'm a dancer now. You know, I'm a dancing athlete.
That's right.
And, you know, I follow along. I don't care.
Not to mention, like, what it took to get our brand on there and, like, get our products to, I think we're still missing a couple products on there because it won't, their software doesn't connect with it. And I'm just like, dude, Facebook just laid off like 1,000 people. You couldn't go find somebody that worked in their shops and like hire them so that you can get this stuff together. Cause it was a horror. I didn't really lay into them, but I let them know like of all of the companies that we've worked with now to like get our brand like assimilated and working properly on their platform, you are by far the worst.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what? I'm like, you have your business center, you have then your ad center, you have, which I get, Facebook had that too, but like,
yeah,
it's terrible.
Yeah, it's I think for companies that are like one-off like products, where if you want to get a really good dose of this stuff, take the lid off. Like just unscrew this.
Nah, that was a good.
Oh, dude,
that was a good shot right there.
Yeah, it wakes you up, man. Makes you. When Theo Vaughn did, they did Spelling Salts. I think on the Joe Rogan.
Oh yeah, yep.
Dude, I was rolling, and I think I shouldn't have done this, but like I was rolling in my vehicle to where the point I had to like drive off the road and pause for a second, just because he has so many like just really funny statements that he says.
Yeah,
when weird things happen, like I forget what he said, but he's like, yeah, man, that'll make you like lift the world. It's like the world is on your shoulders. I don't know, something like that. But yeah, Theo Vaughn is a hilarious comedian.
One of my favorite things that he said on there. It's funny because my buddy does some stuff for Monster, but Joe Rogan was talking about Monster, how he sits there the whole time and, you know, while he's doing a UFC fight, he's like, it helps to have the monsters like keep me energy. You know, he's like, it really, you know, makes you want to like, you know, get fired up.
Right.
And Theo Vaughn's like, yeah, you know, it also makes you really want to, you know, beat your wife.
Yeah. It's like, I have those thoughts. What? And I don't know that I have the audience that I can pull that off in front of, because I still got to remain like a little bit. I don't know what the right word is. Professional,
sure.
But these guys can like cuss and say weird things, and like I don't know that people judge them. If I said that, I'm gonna get 37 emails next week. Saying, hey, my kid was watching that, and now they think differently at you when they see you at church. Like, oh well, I didn't think about that, so I apologize. And my kids watch the show, so. But man, 2024 for you guys. Like, what's the personal side? What does it look like for you, man? What are your goals? Do you do New Year's resolutions?
Oh yeah.
What are they?
Oh man.
Can we talk about that
in there? Yeah. Sort of. I mean, we could talk about some.
Yeah. Well, you're in charge of what we're talking about.
Then. Yeah. I mean, for me, all right. Again, I go back to those 4 quadrants. So I started with a new group now. So before was Warrior, and they had that weekend challenge, but then they roll into a 90-day challenge is what it's called, where you create 90-day targets, right?
Yeah.
And I believe you should live your life about 90 days at a time. You create long-term goals, 20-year vision. That's your vision. Like, what in 20 years, what do you want your life to look like?
Jeez.
Crazy, right? But it makes you dream. And then from there you go like, okay, we'll work back 10 years. Now 5 years, now 3 years, now 1. Okay, now you're at your 1 year mark. Where do you need to be at the end of the year? Okay. Now take that, break it into 4 chunks, right? Your 4 quarters of the year. And okay, in the next 90 days, what is going to get you closer to that goal?
Yeah.
Right. If it's a weight goal, right? Like I was 200 pounds to start the year, a little bit over. And I'm like, no.
That's a lot for you.
It is. Yeah. The heaviest I ever was 208. And that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I did some keto, knocked that out real quick. 30 days or 90 days, I was down to 170. But this year, you know, a couple years ago, my goal was to run 1,000 miles in the year.
Good God.
Right. So then you break it down. It's like 3.7 something miles a day. But I would just run 6 miles a day. So I hit 1,000 miles by November.
Jeez.
2 years ago. That was like right when the whole situation started. I was like, I'm just going to go run. And, you know, why? Because I hated running. I hated it. So I'm like, you're going to do, you know, Goggins, right?
Yeah.
Get up, like, get to work. Yeah. So I wanted to do something I hated. And what I found out was while I hate the act of running, sort of, like I hate the physicality of it, but I do it outside. I hate treadmills. But,
yeah,
you know, where we live up in Georgetown, I've got the San Gabriel River right there. I'd moved into an awesome apartment right on the river. Well, at first I was running in my neighborhood, but still, I like being outside. I'm off the grid, right? Got to be outside.
Right.
And so I would run by the river every day. And it was just awesome. And it was a time for me to reflect. Like it was almost another meditation because it's like I would work through stuff. Well, when you're out there for an hour, you got time to work through stuff. And you're listening to books or podcasts. It's a great time to listen to a book, you know, every day. And so that's what I was doing. And I really learned about myself that like I need this time. And so if I was having a tough, you know, again, you talk about challenges in the business. If I was having a rough day, like if something hit me, so I got slapped in the face, you know, I'd be like, all right, take 30 seconds and worry about it. Get your running shoes on, get dressed, and let's go hit the trail. And I would go hit the trail. And by the time I was done on the trail, I'd be like, all right, I have these 3 solutions. Pick one, let's go. And so, you know, it's like, all right, here we go. Like back in it, let's go. And, you know, a lot of times I would say most of the time you can overcome, you know, 99% of those challenges. A lot of those challenges are in your head, to be honest. Like you make everything way worse in your head than reality.
Right.
And so the quicker you can get to finding a solution instead of worrying about the problem, the quicker you're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
Right. Even if you make the wrong decision, you're at least further ahead than if you didn't make any decision.
Right.
Right. And so that was one thing running really helped with me. So I wanted to do more running this year. One was my Bible study. Like I had gotten the first year going through, you know, separation and divorce. Like I was really in my Bible. Things were really good. And then after the year, I think I got down on myself because I really wanted closure. And I was like, I thought it was only going to take like 4 months.
Yeah.
I was very naive.
It's always more simple when it comes to that. Oh, 4 months would be easy. We'll be done.
I'm like, it couldn't go this far, right? And then it's like that date passes.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, you know, and then we had a negotiated settlement at one point, and then that got pulled back. Yeah. It's just like this roller coaster.
Yeah.
And so finally I was like, you know what? Like, I was down, you know, and so this year, you know, I never stopped going to church. I didn't stop believing in God. You know, I love God. And he's a huge part of my life. And I think it was more, I was angry.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't getting what I wanted.
Right.
Right. And he's like, too bad.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of times there's a little tough love that happens because it's like, tell me your expectations and I'll show you reality. Mm-hmm. Right. You can have an expectation that's good for you, but it better be tentative or it better be like, this is my suggestion, Lord. Like if it's your will, please, can we do this?
It's so much easier if we just do it this way.
But the reality is a lot of times he's like, no, you know, and there is a better thing for you, but man, it's hard to see. Now I see it, right? Like after going through the process, and I'm extremely grateful. But yeah, there was a time where I wasn't doing study, you know, I was going to church and I was still, you know, there, but I wasn't deep in Bible study. Like I wasn't working on myself and my relationship with God. I was just kind of there. Yeah. And so that's a big thing for me this year is back in my Bible. I mean, I was doing 3 Bible studies at a time, you know, back originally. It was like I would do, you know, the 365, like read the Bible in a year. And then I would do a study on like Joshua or David or someone like that. And then I would do just another like Psalms or Proverbs. And so it's getting back into that is one of my big things. Getting back down to 180 pounds.
Yeah.
in the business, create more content, right? Videos, and study more content, like study more content creators. Like I found so many amazing like videos on content creation. I think I'm in a little bit of an analysis paralysis at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Kind of like just go, like you just start recording and editing video. It's like, what video editor do I use? Like now I'm like all interested in, there's a, it's not Adobe. It's, the guys that make the Blackmagic cameras.
Yeah. What do they got? What's,
I forget the name of the software, but
well, let's look it up real quick, man.
But it looks really cool. A lot of guys transitioned over to it. It seems like a really cool interface.
Was it Assist?
No,
that's a never mind.
It's not Chorus. Anyway, it looked really cool.
Was it DaVinci?
Yeah, DaVinci. Yeah. DaVinci Pro or whatever. And it's a free software. And it really intrigued me because the interface looked a lot more palatable and like something I was used to, other than I hate Premiere.
Yeah, Premiere's. I actually like Premiere more than like Final Cut Pro.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Because it's the Photoshop of video editing.
Correct.
And you know, because we do.
There was some crossover.
Yeah, I've not played. I know of DaVinci Resolve. I've heard of this. We've not used it. So we use a ton of different things. Like we've got AI software that throws videos together now, which is cool. That's a whole.
Yeah, you were showing me that, which I was like, this looks awesome.
Yeah, we use a lot of that stuff, and it you know, it's not perfect, but it gets out. And that's one thing that I told our staff. Every week we have a new quote of the week. Someone writes on the board. I started the year and I wrote, hey, it's the start that stops most people. And so when people get in to where they have so much information that they've absorbed, because they're like, oh, what are the new trends of 2024? Or let's see at TikTok. Oh, how'd they do that? They've got all these new business opportunities on there. They're diving in, they're studying, and then all of a sudden you're like 3 weeks into the studies and you're like, I haven't made any money.
Or a video. Or a video.
Yeah. And it's like, man, it's the start of things that stops most people with a logo. I don't have the logo, so we can't sell this T-shirt yet, or we can't go do business. Well, sometimes it takes like just the name to get started. Sometimes it just takes you sitting in your living room with your iPhone, no intro, no outro, just shoot a freaking video, and throw it on the internet. And I told our staff, I don't know who I told, a message from the heart will always trump a freaking perfect script.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can read and it's perfect, but like when you start talking, and that's why I like to go off the script a lot in this room, it's because like you get to really hear my personal convictions come out.
It's organic.
Yeah. But you still got to have some boundaries that are in line. But yeah, I think whatever it is you're using, like the software, learn DaVinci, learn how to put an intro there. If you need an intro for the business, we'll throw one at you. But like you've got to get the stuff going. Your passion for the business, that's what you need to sell. The experience of wearing y'all's apparel, man. Like you're already doing that. And so now let's update, let's keep it going. Let's put a crap load of content out this year.
Right.
And let's find some people that are just as in love with the brand as you are, just as much in love.
Well, and I just want to communicate directly with them. Yeah. Like I'm at a place now where it's like, okay, like I just want to have a dialogue with you.
Yeah.
1-to-1. Yeah. And like I can do that.
Yeah.
Like I have the ability to do that. And so it's going to be engaging our customer. Like I've never really taken the time to do that. I hate it. Like this is like a scary thing for me to do. Like I'm not looking forward to myself on video.
Yeah. Like it sucks, man, because you're vulnerable and you like I hate the way I talk.
Yep.
So like Yamba, who's on our staff, I said, hey, we're going to Seoul it's Seoul de Jalisco. And he's like, bro, take out the U. It's not Seoul, it's Seoul. I'm like, bro, I hear the same thing that you say I'm saying, but I don't feel like I'm saying that. Bro, it's just do it, man.
Yeah.
Like I hate being on camera. I know you hate being on camera. And a lot of it's like, it's because you've got some demons in your closet that you don't have anything to prove to them.
Right.
And bro, you're doing this not for yourself. You're doing this for the next generation of your family.
Yeah.
And like your kids, I know they love you, bro. And they've gone through a lot over the past several years too. You've got nothing to prove to anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're serving your customer base. You're serving this world in a whole new way. I love the fact that you feel refreshed after a journey in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Complete chaos, because I've known every angle, and I've seen the opposite angle, which has been a nightmare as well. But like, dude, this year we've got to power through the obstacles, and you've overcome something that a lot of people fail at. A lot of people fail at their marriage, and you've overcome, that coming apart, and you coming out healthy on the other end of that. And a lot of men don't do that.
Yeah.
And so, man, dude, whatever it takes, my team's on board with what you're doing. I believe in you. And I know you didn't come here for motivation because you don't need it from me. But, dude, I'm proud of you. Oh, dude, we just hit the 1 hour mark. Yeah. But.
Well, and I think that's the other big thing for this year is just with my relationship with my girlfriend. She has 2 awesome boys, Brooks and Bear. And, like, I met such an awesome person. Like,
we enjoyed meeting her a couple weeks ago.
I was blown away. Like, that I could
awesome.
meet. Like, it was one of those things where, like, you're too good for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I can't.
Well, that's the best thing to happen.
Yeah.
Because, like, when you have someone that is, pulling you up.
Yeah.
Instead of, like, even business partners, this goes across the map. When it comes to relationships, like, if you're the one that's only providing the food,
right?
And I'm not talking about finances. I'm talking about, like, if you're the one feeding the family and never getting fed, it's tough. And so I know that just in the interaction between you and your girlfriend now, like, it wasn't a battle to have a conversation. It was like building you up. You built her up, and, like, the conversation was really, really positive.
Yeah.
And so you hit on the physical life, running, getting outdoors, getting off the grid, which is I love, and spiritual life, getting back in the book, relationships outside of that. Like, this is a good year to start fresh, to start new, and really build something that's going to last long term. And so what are you reading right now? What book?
So the group I'm in, the Iron Council, which is Ryan Mickler's thing. He's got a podcast called The Order Man. We're reading, it's something about, this guy that went to the moon. Or no, he didn't go to the moon, but he's an astronaut. I'll tell you right now. Hold on. Let me get into my Audible. Moonshot. And it's an awesome book. I mean, I go through at least a book every couple weeks. Mike Massimo. I love what Alex Ramosi says, though, too. He's like, I don't care how many books you read, it's how many books you, like, understand and digest. And so this one is awesome because he talks about, man, that this guy had to overcome a lot of obstacles to become the astronaut that he is, like, to even become an astronaut in general. And so it's cool just to see, again, where you have a vision for your life, and you go after it hard and fast, right? And so, I mean, he didn't have the vision to be able to be an astronaut. And they told him straight up, they're like, you have to have 20/20 vision. And he didn't. And he worked with a coach, and she's like, usually I work with kids. He worked with a coach to train his eyes, to get his eyes to 20/20 vision, so he could become an astronaut.
That's crazy.
It's a rad story. So I'm going
to order this book.
Yep. I'm also going through a podcast right now on blended families. And so there's this couple that created a podcast. It's on Spotify, actually. And so that's another big one of my goals is just understand. I mean, it's a process. It's not easy, especially when I've got 2 teens that are in high school, right? And she has a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. So you're talking about,
it's 2 different worlds right there.
2 different worlds, 2 different stages of life, 2 different upbringings.
Yeah.
Even, my kids, they've had 14 to 16 years of a different way of life.
Yeah.
And now we're combining these families, and we're combining expectations and rules, and,
stuff, man.
It's a lot. Blended Life is the name of the podcast. And it's been super cool because they have a very similar story to ours, to a degree. So there's a lot I can really relate to. So yeah, that's another big kind of point.
That's it right there.
Yep.
Where are they based out of?
I think they're California.
Gotcha.
And so I started at episode 1. I'm on episode 4 right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's good, man.
So we have within the Iron Council, you break into battle teams, right? And so in my battle team, that's your kind of core accountability group of like 16 guys max, but I think we have 8 guys in our group right now. Gotcha. And so we meet every week and you go over your battle plan, which is like, okay, you have your daily goals. Like I need to at least listen to 10 minutes of the podcast. I have to do my Bible study. I have to work out 45 minutes. I have to run 45 minutes, and I have to either study for a podcast or create content. And so every day do you get a point or do you not? And if you get below 70% for the week, your battle team grabs you and is like, hey man, hot seat. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, that accountability is what a lot of people need.
100%.
And I don't think a lot of men crave that until they're in the group.
Yep.
That's why like we love 75 hard.
Yep.
Is because it's a complete shift. I told somebody that today. I was like, hey, let me send you the details of this. And he's like, man, I'm not like extreme like that. And I'm like, dude, it's not about being extreme, because a lot of people only look at like, oh, I can't go work out for 45 minutes twice a day. But I'm like, you can eat for 45 minutes 3 times a day.
Right.
Like, and you're eating fried chicken. You're eating this stupid stuff. You're getting, this is what I laughed at my dad, because like he goes to Whataburger all the time. And it's one of the things for him where like his dad was a Whataburger fan. And so like he passed away several years ago. And so my dad, I think, connects with
it's emotional thing.
Yeah, I think it's an emotional thing, but like he'll go there and it's like, hey, I want a double whatever cheeseburger with a Diet Coke. And I'm like, just go with Coke. You're eating all this other crap, but like people don't understand.
You're going to save 100 calories.
Maybe, yeah.
Not even that.
Yeah, but you're also getting refills and stuff like that. And you're getting that 44-ounce drink. I don't want to bash people, but like we're in a situation where the food that we eat, dude, is it's killing us, man. And so 75 hard for us is a big deal. We're going to start that here in the next, I think in February.
I might join you guys.
Yeah. But it's not because we want to lose. Like my wife has 0 weight to lose. She looks at herself. She's like, oh my God, I'm so overweight. Like, girl, you're wearing, you and our 11-year-old daughter wear the same clothes now. Like, please. I need to shed some pounds, but more importantly, I need to get my mindset shifted to where during 75 hard, I'm a badass.
Right. Like, just do hard things.
Yeah. And so that's for me. I want to be mentally prepared for 2024.
Right.
And, it's I did a lot of self-reflecting over the past couple of weeks. Now we're getting our mojo back, and we're going to town. So as we close out, brother.
Do it.
As we close out, off the grid surplus.com.
Yep.
Correct. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You're on TikTok, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think I'll follow you there. What's the final words, man, that you want people to know about you?
Man, I take products that are combined workwear, tactical, and outdoors, put them in everyday wearable package. And I love to create. I love, having a positive mindset and growing, being the leader of my family, right? Like if your cup isn't overflowing or even full, you can't pour into anyone else.
Right.
So like, how am I filling my cup every day so I can overflow into my family?
Yeah, that's good. Well, thank you guys for listening to the DC Journey.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, it's been great. I hope you come back.
Yeah,
come back, man. Bring your lady.
Cool.
She's got a whole journey too, man.
Absolutely.
So you guys take care. We are out.